Was Charlie Kirk assassinated or shot? He said horrible things about black people. He was against DEI. He spoke down on minorities. He advocated for gun violence. He got exactly what he was looking for. Take a look at this clip.
I think it's worth to have a cost of, unfortunately, some gun deaths every single year so that we can have the Second Amendment to protect our other God-given rights. That is a prudent deal. It is rational.
That is exactly what Charlie Kirk said. Should we have empathy or sympathy? But hold on, people. This is a 31-year-old man, a father of 2 children, a husband who took upon himself the responsibility to speak on issues that people whisper about behind closed doors. Black folks, listen to me. An eye for an eye keeps everyone blind. I would rather have a Charlie Kirk I can debate with than someone that will scheme and take my life on alert. America has made progress so far because of the First Amendment. I might disagree with what you say about my people, but I would defend your right to say it. When we debate, that is how we make progress as a people. But when we choose silence, the world becomes chaotic because people scheme behind closed doors and you only see the manifestation in the open. What often humans do not talk about more is the end of those who take the lies of others who do not share their beliefs. I've watched over 15 hours of his content. He was a brave man. He was a courageous man. He brought on the table topics that we could debate and make progress as a human race. This should be a lesson to every young person out there. Tyler Robinson is a 22-year-old in Utah that was arrested for the death of Charlie Kirk. He begged for death upon his arrest, while Charlie Kirk's career went through the roof. He's talked about on every major platform. We will listen to what the wife said. But before we do, women, I want you to imagine a world where your husband is taken that young because he stood up for what he believed. I want you to imagine a world where your children have to grow up without a father and have to live with a story like that of Charlie Kirk.
He's watching over us. I don't remember the last time I slept. I couldn't sleep last night. And Charlie, baby. Charlie, I promise I will never let your legacy die, baby. I won't. I promise I'll make Turning Point USA the biggest thing that this nation has ever seen. I promise. Oh, Charlie, I love you. I love you, baby. Rest in the arms of our Lord as he blankets you with the words I know your heart always strived to hear. Well done, my good and faithful servant.
In an interview, President Trump released an official statement regarding the arrest of Tyler Robinson. Let's take a listen.
I think just to protect us all, and so Fox doesn't get sued, and we all don't get sued, and everything else. But I think with a high degree of certainty, we have him in custody. Right? In custody. Everyone did a great job. We worked with the local police, the governor. Everybody did a great job. You know, getting somebody that you start off with absolutely nothing. And we started off with a clip that made him look like an ant that was almost useless. We just saw there was somebody up there. And so much work has been done over the last 2.5 days. You know, it's amazing, actually, when you start off with that and then all of a sudden you get lucky or talent or whatever it is. But, yeah, I think we're in great shape.
Mr. President,
he's in custody.
Your suspicion was that he was radical left. And now you have more information. What can you share with us about his ideology?
Yeah, Lawrence, let me just, and by the way, Lawrence is doing a good job. What's going on here?
That is what President Trump said regarding the arrest of Tyler Robinson. Folks, we live in a world shaped by thinkers that came before us, most of which the people in their time disagreed with, but they engaged in dialogue. Because those ideas were refined, we have the world we see today. When we refuse to speak and listen to each other, the world becomes a chaotic place to live in. Again, to every young person out there, this is not the script to pick up if you want to make the world a better place. Study, read, debate hard, and stand up for what you believe. America is not a pure democracy. America is a constitutional republic. The First Amendment defends the right to free speech. The burden of contention is, what kind of world do we want? Do we want a world where people freely express themselves like Charlie Kirk and we engage in a debate and make progress as a human race? Or do we want a world of police brutality? A world where people sit behind closed doors, come up with plans, and we see the effect in our lives? What kind of world do we want to see? I come from a country where if you speak up on what you believe, you'll be arrested, jailed, or killed. If we lose America, we lose the world. I understand immensely the value of free speech. For those who have never read the First Amendment, this is what it says. Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof or abridging the freedom of speech or of the press or the right of the people peacefully to assemble or to petition the government for a redress of grievances. That is the First Amendment. America is a constitutional republic and not a pure democracy. They have the Constitution that guides every other thing that goes on in this country. While we mourn the death of Charlie Kirk, my heartfelt condolence goes out to the wife and the children and Charlie's family. I also extend sympathy to Tyler Robinson, his family, and the entire state of Utah. Charlie Kirk was the founder of Turning Point USA. Let this incident be a turning point for America to unite and forge a common path. The world is looking up to you, America. What you do will affect the rest of humanity. I will never downplay what African Americans have gone through in America. I will never minimize what Black people in Africa and around the world have gone through and continue to go through. But we should never rejoice over the death of someone that steps up for us to have a conversation on these issues. Hundreds of thousands of my people, the Tikar people, were captured and sold as slaves by neighboring nations that were envious of our prosperity. They conspired with outsiders to raid their neighbors. Some of those slaves were taken to Brazil, the Caribbean, and America. Some captured to work for free at the CDC plantations in Cameroon and still work for a minimum wage till date. Today, we are staged in a nation to be ruled by the same people who captured and sold our people as slaves. But the only way for us to make progress is to have these conversations. The psychological trauma for generations is still evident in our lives today. It shapes how we come into the world, how we are perceived around the world, tribalism, nepotism, corruption, and the mistrust in our community is a classic evidence that this really had an impact on us. Should we let this hold us down? No. Should we let this stop us? No. Should we let this make us less sympathetic towards the death of another? Absolutely no. Our ancestors were resilient. They were strong. They survived. And we should carry on that mantle and never give up, but make the world a better place. We should be different. It is barely 160 years ago since slavery was abolished. This is approximately 6 to 7 generations. Black people around the world, especially those affected by slavery and slave trade. It is time for us to unite and have perspective on the way moving forward.